Okay, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. I've been trying for weeks now to, on and off, to get this intro going, and I tend to make it way too long, or if I try to shorten it, I can't get everything I want to say in it said. Some stuff maybe not even be necessary for an introduction, but I want to try to get as much about my personal self as I can in this intro to this channel. I've got another channel that's under my name. It's about aquaponics, breeding tilapia, a couple do-it-yourself projects. That was just my way of paying forward, because what I knew when I started in aquaponics and started breeding tilapia, I learned online. Now, I learned other stuff on my own and came up with things on my own. I ran experiments on my own, and I just wanted to share that information as a way of thanking the people who had shared with me and passing on that knowledge for other people who were interested. That's why I started on YouTube with that channel. So this channel, A Simple Atheist, is because I'm a simple person. I'm not super intelligent. I'm of average intelligence. I don't claim to be smarter than anybody else. I don't claim to be right about everything, even though when I think I'm right, I tend to argue a point to death. I know this, I just can't really do much about it. Anyway, my name is Mark Massengill. I'm 48. I'm disabled. I've been on disability for about 6 years now. I had a disc in my lower back rupture. It caused permanent nerve damage to the nerves in my lower back and legs. I've been married for 25 years. Of course, my wife decided she couldn't be happy while I was in her life. She doesn't want a divorce because of her religion, but she doesn't want to live as a man and wife as her religion says they're supposed to be either. So I just let her have the house. Not going to argue about it. I moved onto a sailboat. I'm going to start trying to do the things I would enjoy more in life. She didn't like being on the water. I love being on the water. I gave it up because I felt she was more important. Now I'm just going to do what I enjoy, and if somebody wants to come in and do those things with me, more than happy to have a companion that will be there and share interest with me again. I've been an atheist, like I said, for about 25 years. I didn't tell my family. I told my wife because I stopped going to church at that time, but I didn't tell my family until a couple years after I got disabled. So, of course, their immediate reaction was, oh, you're not an atheist. You don't not believe in God. You actually believe in God. You're just mad at him because of your disability. I've been disabled for 6 years. Been an atheist for about 25, 26 now. So you tell me which came first. And it's like I told, I don't remember who in my family it was, but when they said those words to me, I pointed out the math to them as well. And, if you don't believe I've been an atheist for that length of time, talk to my wife. She'll tell you. Of course, then it was, well, maybe God's trying to teach you something. Okay, well, if you're going to worship a being who tries to convince people to believe in him, not by providing evidence, but by hurting them, that's not a being I would want to worship, and that seems a little twisted to me. But so don't think that I'm an atheist because of my disability. The disability is genetics. Degenerative disc disease led to that disc rupturing. I've got other bad discs that are herniated, putting pressure on nerves. That's what landed me on disability, the risk of further damage and the restrictions on my physical abilities. Now, as far as religion, I was not raised to be an atheist. I was raised to be religious. My family's highly religious on both sides. My mom's side, Southern Baptist. My stepfather's side, or he's my dad as far as I'm concerned. He raised me since I was like 2, Catholic. I converted to Catholicism around 13 or so. Had been going to Catholic church since I was about 10 or 11, learning more about the church or what have you for that time period. Once I got out of the house, I pretty much stopped going to church for a couple of years while I was in the service. When I got back home, I started trying to go back to, because I had questions. I had doubts, so I started trying to go back to services. Catholic church wasn't doing much for me. I met my wife, started going back to Southern Baptist church, was a little happier for a little while, but I think it was just because of the group that we were with the other young people we were involved with, the Bible study and this stuff of that nature. I think my belief wasn't so much a belief in a God, but more of a desire to belong and wanting to be part of something. At the time, I thought it was a true belief. I thought, and I wanted to believe in God, and I was questioning the discrepancies between the Bible and what I was being told and everything else. I was praying about it and doing everything I possibly could to try to hold on to that faith and hold on to that sense of belonging. And I just finally got to the point I couldn't do it anymore. So now, after being silent as an atheist for a long time in deference to my wife, I'm trying to be more involved, and especially with a lot of stuff that's going on with our school systems in some states, and our governments, and even on the city, county level. I mean, last month our local county commission decided to put up a plaque, "In God We Trust," in Government Plaza downtown, the government building downtown. Now, claiming, well, it's the motto or whatever, but it's not about the motto. The group that put it forth is a religious group. The guy that tried to push for it says it's all about religion and getting God back into government, which is something I think we all need to start staying against, because God was never intended to be in our government. It's right there in the Establishment Clause. So it's unconstitutional to even put that plaque up. It's unconstitutional to have it on our money, because I don't trust in a God. I trust more in people's ability to reason and think, rather than trying to place everything on faith and, oh, the Pope can tell us what to do, or the Bible tells us all we need to know and we don't need to know anything else, or these are, this is what the church teaches, so this is what the laws ought to be. No, we need to have as secular of a government as we can possibly get. So the best way to do that is through discourse, is through discussion, is through getting ideas out there and getting people to think. So I think we need as many reasonable voices as we can get. And that's all I intend with this. I may rant, I may rave. I've got topics I want to put forth and talk about that some people might consider controversial and they might get all mad and upset about. But that's not the point. The point is to get people to think, to get a discussion going, to get a discourse going, is so that we can all learn, not just other people, but myself as well. I want it to be a two-way street. So feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to give me topics that you want to discuss. And that's what I will try to do. Just the way I am, I do things in bursts. I might do a video a week, or even 3 videos a week for a couple of weeks. Then it might be 2 months before I put another video up. Sorry, that's just who I am. I've got other things in my life. And while this is extremely important to me, which is why I'm doing it, it's not the most important thing. It is one of the most important things, but I've got other things in my life that I have to take care of right now and have to try to get accomplished as well. I guess that's all that's really important to have in this intro.